Hey y'all, this is the Yami podcast. I don't know, I really haven't came up with a name for it, so this might be the first audio that you hear, and then there might be another one, but I'm really thinking Yami, you know what I'm saying? Really, today's topic is going to be about lessons, losses, and lows. Ooh, there that goes. Ooh, sound like I got a little flow. Ooh. We're going to be talking about, what you guys would consider a loss within your life, the lessons that they actually are, and the lows, and what do we learn in those moments. So I want to hop right into it. What really inspired me to do this topic was, just having a conversation, and was talking to a friend of mine, and we were just talking, and we were just like, or maybe I was just in thoughts. Maybe this friend of mine was me, but just in thought, and I was like, thinking about all the things that I've been through. Even when I do have conversation with friends, it's like when you reach great triumphs and when you're successful, a lot of times you resort back into all the losses and all the bad things that happened, or all the failures that you went through per se, opposed to just saying, oh, and I did this and I did that and I did that, because the lows is what made the success hit so hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I failed so many times. Excuse me. But I eventually got right, It really made me think. It was like, a lot of times we ask ourselves, what's our worst low and what's this and what's that? And I was like, what was my best low? Like, what was that? You ever been so low and that all you could do was just take the lesson? Like, I'm talking about, you were so low, you couldn't do nothing but think. You were at a rock bottom at that phase. And when you think about it, those lows are where we get our greatest lessons that eventually take us to our next highest high, a higher high, should I say. I was just like, okay, so what was a very low point in my life, or what was my way of thinking to get into like this best low, the best quote unquote low? What did I go through? We just associate low with the worst. You see, but when you ask yourself, like, what is my worst quote unquote low, it already puts you in the mindset to just think about how you were feeling through that experience, not the thoughts that those feelings induced you to think. Those feelings that you had induced you to learn in most cases, right? One of my best lows where I was 20 years old. Well, I was 19 at the start of it, but it unfolded by the time like 20, like 3 months after I turned 20, and it was like, I was in college. Keep in mind, like, during this period of time, like, I was paying my own way through college. So there was already enough stress as is, like, and I had a very hard time. Like, college was just hard for me personally. Like, college was a struggle. So, and then COVID was going on. I didn't have any friends. I got back into a relationship that I shouldn't have got back in. That should have been dead, like, way earlier than what it was. But I got back with the ex. I just got out of a car accident. I just got into a car accident. Come to find out, once I got in the car accident, my insurance did not want to cover the flight. I still feel like it's a lawsuit. Yeah, but long story short, they did not want to cover the expenses of the thing. They reneged and pulled my insurance policy and said I never had one, but we made a payment. Crazy, right? If you're a lawyer and you hear this, like, let me know what I need to do, okay? That happened, and then on top of that, I turned around, I got a new car, but my new car, I got caught up in a shootout, and then I took a lot of financial hits. When I didn't have a car, I had to cut off my Birmingham clientele. Eventually, I was no longer in the shop anymore in Birmingham, so I was just included to my Tuscaloosa clientele, which I was still building, so that's a cash flow cut off. And then I also, I eventually went to therapy. I was diagnosed with PTSD. I had to file bankruptcy. And I was actually in preparation to buy my first investment property, and I was going to leverage my credit and everything like that. So it felt like everything that I worked so hard for just came tumbling down. Like, it felt like everything that I sacrificed for those last 2, 3, 4 years came tumbling down in a matter of like 2 months. It was heartbreaking. I was depressed. Like at this point, like I was having like those type of thoughts. I was trying to get out of there. If you get what I'm saying, it was a lot of weight on me for a 20-year-old. No friends. My finances was the only thing that made me feel like I was doing something right, and I put a lot of my trust within how much I had to make. By the time the fourth month rolled, like I was like I was starting all the way over, like all the way over because of how much crap was happening within my life. That's one of my best lows, I would say, because in that moment I could tell you like everything that I learned. Like it's like when I went through that low, I went through a phase where I constantly was just on the hunger to learn, get better. Now I'm like, how do I get out of this situation? So it taught me to be more savvy. It taught me how to like maneuver. It taught me how to look. It taught me to look into business credit for one. Like now I have great business credit that I plan on leveraging pretty soon. It taught me other ways to get credit financing with the real estate. It pulled me so much more closer to God, which is I feel is the main thing that needed to be done in that moment. But it pulled me so much closer to the Lord. Like it was like I need a hug. You know what I'm saying? It also revealed to me how broken I was. And I'm not gonna say that broke me, but it revealed to me how broken I already was, and like different limiting beliefs and feelings that I had within myself that I didn't know I was carrying around every single day because I was so distracted about, distracted with my business, with maintaining this and getting done with that. Like my head was like, I gotta get this first investment property. I gotta get this. If I get this, I'll be rich pretty soon. I need to be investing a little bit more. And so that also made me a lot more savvier. I looked into finances. Like I'm watching Wall Street. This is 2020. Yeah, I'm watching Wall Street Trapper all the time. I'm watching Earn Your Leisure, Tam Bayou, the quick dude, the dude that made the Limitless book. I'm reading books now. Like started looking into self-love. I'm reading my Bible a lot more. Like I feel like that situation, like that storm right there that was brewing, like that brewed around me that I made through, that really taught me how to be a woman. Like it molded me into a woman. Like what I say, do I feel that I had to go through all that, or that everyone has to go through something like that to just have that moment? No. But that was God's moment of reaching me. That was his way of reaching through to me to say, hey, your attention is not where it needs to be. I need you to like get right here. So I was so low to the point that I couldn't do anything but get better. I couldn't do anything but induce growth. I couldn't do anything but simply just crawl my way up. Like they say, once you hit rock bottom, the only way you can go is up. And I say that to say that you experience new lows to experience higher highs. I know you guys have probably even seen the meme that says something like that, but that's how I've always looked at it. Like, like even when you're watching the stock chart, the way I know a stock is in an upward trend is if it's creating higher lows. So when it goes down, it's bouncing back up, and each of these peaks are forming. If each peak or each low, like peak of the low, that's kind of, you get what I'm saying though. But each point of lowness is getting higher and higher. I know the stock is going up. So that's a good like indicator typically when you're an investor, right? That's a good indicator within your life because growth is not linear. Growth is not linear. Like you're gonna have to, have some cool off moments. You need some conflict, some resolution, and you're gonna do it again and again and again and again. You just gotta learn how to love your cycles. Everything in life is a cycle. So I would say that. Recently, my car was in the shop. Like, I'm talking about, it was just in the shop for an extended period of time. And it wasn't like, no, I didn't have the money to pay for it type of thing. It just took them a long time. It was very irritable, and I was just kind of flustered. And then at the end of it all, like, it ended up being like $5,000 because I had to take it back twice. So I'm like, I paid it off. It was irritable, very irritable. I'm like, I could have just went and got a new car for all that. Maybe just fix the first thing and just turn it back in. But it is what it is. Thank God that I'm able. And I was like, dang, 20-year-old me would have been like, you ain't tripping at that car, it was $5 to fix that car. Like, girl, couldn't have been me. Like, she just would have been stressed. Like, she just wouldn't have, thought of it in that way. And then you got like 18-year-old me would have been like, you got a car? And it's in the shop and he ain't stressing. Like, I'm trying to be like you, man. You both got them racks. You know what I'm saying? Like, on a serious note, it's just like you sit in moments that you pray for, and sometimes you have to realize, like, this is a moment that I prayed for, so let me be grateful within this moment and not just, negate the fact that there was some growth there. There was some serious growth there. You know, because like I said, like a younger me would have been stressing at the fact that it was, you know what I'm saying, that I had to go pay to get my car fixed, regardless if I had the money or not. That's growth within the mind. And then 18-year-old me would have been like, oh, you got a car? Like, what? Like, and it's a brand new, it's a newer model, like, you know what I'm saying? And she would have been straight with that. You know what I'm saying? She would have been excited about that. So it's like there's growth within, you know, in a material standpoint, a financial standpoint from that. And it's just like, then, you know, I would consider that a low, but I just took it for the lessons. Like, I'm not upset with it like I wasn't upset with it then, but I'm not upset with it. Like I said, we'll ask ourselves, you know, what's the best time that we've had within our life, right? Honestly, during this period of time, you'd probably be in the moment the most, because I bet you'd answer that question. Like, I bet you'd answer that question based, like, with in terms of how you were feeling, what area you were in, the place that you were, and the experiences that you were having in that moment. So you ain't trying to learn nothing. You trying to enjoy it. So like you have to realize, like, you need those lows within your life. Like, you need those. So like when you are experiencing turmoil or warfare within your life, or whatever it may be that you got going, just sit back and honestly take in the lessons. Because yes, it's very hard. I'm not going to act like it's just an easy thing to master, and I'm not going to act like there's not going to be times where you become overwhelmed. But once you do experience those feelings, and you actually have to just like settle with the fact that, okay, this has happened, just sit back and think, like, what is the lesson that I am trying to learn within this moment? What's the lesson? Because I'm pretty sure there's something that you can learn. I'm pretty sure that there's something, you know, that you may need to know, or God is trying to reveal to you, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Just sit back. That's your losses, lessons, and lows for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you want to hear more. Bye, sis.
Did it